This is my 1:20 a.m. I just have to give this message to my beloved people of God. Today is Sunday, a special day of the Lord. I beg God every day of my life, let him not allow what he put in me to die without using it. And that is why I am up now to deliver this message to you. Now, I want to tell you this. Do not allow anybody in this world to put you into temptation, into a sin that will prevent you from entering the promised land. There are people who are not happy in this world. And because they are not happy, they don't want you to be happy. There are people who are so frustrated that they want everybody to be like them. I will use the story of Moses to give you an example. You know, sometimes when I wake up in the morning, maybe, after my prayers and everything, once I go to my phone, especially any day I give a message that some people are not happy with, the bad people, the bad ones, those following me not from their mind but to know, to say, Mother Mario said this or that. When I bring up my phone, you see them sending me, inboxing me a message, and what is the message talking about? You see them trying to insult me in the morning. That is somebody we just get up in the morning or call it afternoon, anything, and just look at my page or listen to my message, and the person is angry. Instead of person to press the blocking button and block me or pass, the person will decide to drop this comment, annoying comment, or will even inbox me, especially if that person don't want people to know that he or she is saying this. It will just inbox me and insult me. Of course, the commonest word will be fake. So the person will be just will just insult me. And when somebody insults you, insults your personality, what will you do? Sometimes people will put you into temptation. We make you, in fact, the next thing you will think of, do I curse this person? Because you know that an anointed mouth, if it curses you, it will happen. If your hands are clean and somebody is pursuing you, somebody is, hurting you, and you pronounce something on that person, that is it. That's how it's going to happen. So, you go to look for somebody's trouble. Or what if you're mad at me? Maybe I did nothing to you. Just that you don't like what I do. You don't like what I say. Why not go your way? Then you try to drop that kind of comment, just trying to. Even some people will create a fake account in order to insult you, in order to say all kind of things about you. what will you do? I'm asking you, my beloved follower. When people castigate you, talk evil about you, what do? Do you say, okay, offer it to God? You pray for good of the person. My point here is that do not put anybody into temptation. Don't put me into temptation of getting angry to the extent that I may be tempted to curse you, or to pray against you, or to ask God to fight you. Now, look at, I want you to know, do you know why Moses didn't enter the promised land? Do you know how the Bible explained about Moses? Who is Moses? Let's look at this reading. And if you go to Numbers 20, you will know a lot about Moses. Let's look at this. He said, why was Moses not allowed to enter the promised land? You know, Moses was not allowed to enter the promised land. Why? Okay. It almost seems unfair. Moses was the man God called to be the deliverer of Israel. God called Moses to be the deliverer of Israel. He confronted Pharaoh and successfully led the Israelites out of Egypt. Moses must have been a very powerful person, humble, a man maybe that has found favor in the sight of God. And that is why God picked him, chose him to be the one to do this job. Say, before you were born, I knew you. It's not everybody that is picked up for particular jobs. God chooses. He'll find you worthy. So, he said, he led a group of stubborn, look at how, he led a group of stubborn, rebellious Israelites through the wilderness for 40 years. Stubborn. Sometimes people you are nice to, they are stubborn. They may not treat you well. They will hate you. People who you are working for. Maybe as a missionary, you are trying to touch souls. You are trying to help people. And people are not happy with it. Have you ever been nice to somebody and the person become ungrateful and repay you evil with good? How do you feel about it? Okay. He said, all the while dealing with their constant complaining and grumbling. On top of that, they often doubted God and fantasized about returning to Egypt. Little temptation, little hunger. They forgot that man that through Moses brought them out from Egypt in the hand of Pharaoh, where they were suffering, where they were not recognized. But little thing, somebody will be nice to you. The little mistake that person will do, is a problem. It becomes a bad person. It becomes fake. It becomes every name in this world. He said, after enduring all this and leading them to the doorstep of the land God had promised them, Moses was not allowed to enter the promised land. After helping them, leading them for 40 days and 40 nights, still, he did not enter that promised land. If you were Moses, how will you feel? How will you feel if you were Moses? Now, the incident that preceded Moses not being allowed to enter the promised land occurred in Numbers 20. When you make out time, read it. But here is the summary. In this chapter, the Israelite community arrived at the desert of Sin, and after a while, they faced a dire situation. No water is available for the community. Their frustration and anger towards Moses and Aaron build up in typical Israelite fashion, as they have done before. They quickly descend into grumbling and complaining ways. They return to their usual refrain. Why did you bring us to the barren wilderness where there is no water to drink? You are doing good to people, and they start complaining. Little thing they are complaining, little mistake. Even when you tell them what they don't want to hear, they start complaining. They will hate you. And when they complain, how does it affect you? Do you get angry and make mistake? Because the Bible said in response, Moses and Aaron sought guidance and intervention before the Lord. It is during this time God gave Moses a very specific instruction for the people. Do you remember? Even Moses, when Moses went up to the mountain to get the 10 Commandments, to seek the face of God, to listen to God, to bring message from God, they waited and waited, complaining. And what did he do? When God asked Moses, he said, Moses took the staff from the Lord's presence, just as he commanded him. He and Aaron gathered the assembly together in front of the rock, and Moses said to them, listen, you rebels, must we bring you water out of this rock? Then Moses raised his arm and struck the rock twice with his staff. Water gushed out, and the community and their livestock drank. You know what Moses did? He struck it 2 times out of anger. That's disobedience. God asked him to do it. To do what? And he did it 2 times. That's disobedience. He said, God told Moses to speak to the rock. And Moses struck the rock twice. Speak to the rock. He struck. He were anger. Because the people were murmuring. The people were angry with him. His goodness is being good to them. He's leading them. He led them out of Egypt. He's helping them. And they're angry with him. That's what some of our people are doing. The people that are supposed to get angry, it's not the people that are getting angry. They're getting angry on their fellow citizens, innocent citizens. The people that is also suffering with them are the people they are tormenting. He said, based on Moses' actions, his frustration with these people had reached a boiling point. It reached a boiling point. He had enough. Because of Moses' disobedience and lack of trust in God, the Lord told him, you will not lead these people into the promised land. This is my fear. As a servant of God, I'm always afraid, very careful for anybody not to make me angry, that will make me to be in enmity with my God, that will make God to be angry with me. Sometimes you start blaming a man of God, a servant of God, when he gets angry. You push a man of God to the wall. You push somebody, to the wall, that the person will get angry and start reacting. Just like when you see 2 people fighting. Somebody must have pushed to the other, to the wall, to the extent of that person reacting. Do you push people to the wall? Do you say stupid things, nonsense things, malicious things, lies, gossip? Do you do these things that will push the person you are talking to the wall, to the extent of doing what may make God angry? And when you make somebody angry and the person start reacting, you start blaming. In their words, Okwandi church, Okwandi no see how wonka. Look at how they are cursing somebody. Look at what they are saying. But you made that person to behave that way. You forced that person. You brought out the human aspect of that person. There's something you do to somebody. You bring out the beast in that person. Because everybody in this world has the beast aspect of that person. That because of God, the person controls it. The person. You understand? Ikpo onyara ama m ihe m ga-akpọ gị ya akara onyara gị nwa akara bewezie asị na arịrị azọpịara isi ebere akwa na onye zọpịara isi na-ebezi. Don't lead me into temptation. Don't lead nobody into temptation. You know, even in families, how do you treat one another? How do you appreciate somebody's love? Somebody will love you, be doing good things for you. How do you appreciate it? When you don't appreciate, the person will change, will not give you again. When you don't reciprocate love, just like those into marriage, right? Appreciate your spouse. And Ogana did good. As neke no onye na nke o mere eme, omekwa ọsọ. You feel I'm not doing the right thing. What are you supposed to do? Correct me with love. Don't insult me. Don't curse me. Give me, inbox me. Give me a call. If possible, drop voice message, drop text message. Do you have to come to this? Just like you come to the social media to insult somebody, and the person reacts also on social media, you start crying. Okwandi church. You understand? You pick somebody up on social media. Disobedience, fake, you say these things on social media. And one day the person decided to respond to you. Mana ginwa nke gadewi. Ginwa iburo child of God. Only that person will child of God. Ginwa they represent God. Only that person is representing God. You see this word hate. Let's be very careful about this word hate. When you hate somebody, when you see somebody hate them mad, there's nothing you do in this world that the person will appreciate. If they see you talking, it's mad. Even when you do a charity, the person will see it as show off. Even when you shower, you take your shower, the person will see it. Whatever you do, the person must complain. If you hate me and somebody slap me, you say, deserve the slap. If I slap somebody, you'll be like, Tufi Akwa, she slapped somebody. Alo. there's nothing that person will do that you will appreciate. And that's the evil of hatred. And I want to ask you today, that person you hate, what did he or she do to you that you should hate the person? We're already in Ember month. Everybody in this world wishes his or her family or herself or himself to be loved and progress. Wherever you are and you hear that somebody did bad thing to your mother or your father, you are angry, or your sister or your brother. But do you care how you treat others? That person you are castigating, do you know that there are people that love that person? Do you know that there are people who are alive today because of that person? Do you know that that person has a family? Do you care for those that are happy for the life of that person when you are treating that person bad? A lot of people today, I've said it before and I'm saying it, a lot of people are suffering today for what they did to somebody, Akwa, for what they did to somebody that is protected by God. Be careful on who you offend. Be careful on who you try to destroy, because aka Chineke, onye obula aka Chineke dị na ya, onwere ihe pụrụ ime onye ahụ. When God's hand is in anybody, whatever anybody is doing, and you try to put hand there to hurt that person in any way, I am sorry for you. People continue jumping from one church to the other, from one ministry to the other, looking for solution of their problem. Solution to your problem is that person Ikechiri some time ago. That person you gossiped about some years ago. That person you took what belonged to that person some years ago. That person you lied against some years ago. That person you betrayed some years ago. That person you never appreciated some years ago. That's your problem. That's why you're sick. That's why you're going through one problem or the other. That person you abandoned. That child you are not taking care of. The people you abused. It's part of your problem. Maybe you are suffering. Back to sender. Back to sender. Somebody embossed me the other day. He said, when you comment, you talk to her now, she will tell you back to sender. Yes. I always pray that if you plan any evil against me, if you curse me out, if you insult me, I always send it back to the person. You see somebody, somebody told me that after the day I said to him, back to sender, the person insulted me, embossed me, insulted to me. The only thing I said back to sender. He said, for the whole month, people were abusing him. Even people he did not do anything to. In his shop, he said him and his neighbor in the shop started even quarreling. Then he embossed me. He said, Mother Mary, I'm so sorry for insulting you the other day. I said, well, I can't even remember. What did I do that you have to insult me? If I say what you don't like, ignore me. I cannot say what is not appealing to God because I'm a missionary. I am a missionary. I tell you the simple truth and nothing but the truth. I care for you. I pray for you. I love you. But I'm always very aggressive to the devil and his agents. I'm always very aggressive to people who hate others, who want to destroy others, character assassinators. I am allergic to them. So, my dear, do not lead anybody into temptation. Do not come to the social media and start talking against somebody. And when you talk and the person reply, you say the person is a bad person, is not doing well. Why? When you started assassinating the person's character, what do you think? It will start blessing you, right? People who never have, intention of reacting to issues, even on social media, of cursing anybody out, of acting anything negative. Sometimes our behaviors, what we say about the person, about people, can make them react. Yes. Can you insult your father and expect him to give you something? You want to beg for one thing or the other from your father, and you're cursing him. Say, my son, you're cursing me. No way you can get it. So please, Moses did not enter the promised land because he was angry. He was angry. He reacted. Don't react. Forgive those who have offended you. Some people will not apologize. Leave them for God. I try not to be angry. I try to be a happy nun. I try not to respond to some negative comments, negative behaviors. I try not to. But sometimes I do react because I'm a human being. If I have reacted to you, and that's why you're angry with me, I'm sorry. But sometimes I do react because I am a human being. Do not bring out the beast in anybody, because blood still runs in our vein. I want to wish you a happy Sunday, a happy new week. I thank you for following me, and I want you to share this message. I am going back to, I'm not even going back because I have not even slept. I'm going back to bed, because we went for a wedding. Man, America, now. So we went to a wedding, came back, and this message was coming to me, and I decided to make this video. I wrote something before from the wedding I went to. You guys say wedding kita ndi umu abuobia ana egosisi ya nni nwa ha maka ginizi ana egosi nni nwa amara nko na umu nwoke o like ziri ya iga na were ha nni nwa oge afu ma nwanyi ndi nugodi ndị oka ndị ashebie ndị bridesmaid na-egosisi ya nni nwa ha onye ka na-egosizie ọ dị nwaanyị na-agba akwụkwọ ka gịnị nke bụ nke mfuziwu ndị nke a na-eyebe ya nni nwa ha oye bụ ndị ga-eje nọrọ n'ihu na-agbakwa egwu nwannu a na-ekiri ha emegide nsị sista ngwa ka isi ebe a na and n'obodo oyibo ebe a ịma tụpụrụ n'onye ọnụ ọ bụ n'ụlọ nje ji aka m yoshie ya hụ chọta akwa mmechie ya hụ o nwere ife o ya eme mana ebe a nụ ịma ameni ya nụ ịma amie biko ndị nne oh I miss my mother and their group, their generation. God raised them. Ndị nne kita ada agwonwuzi ụmụ ha okwu ifunu nwa gị ebe nni nwa ya ghe mechinata ni anụ si mechinata ka ife na-emezi ha What is this our word of today coming to be? Oh, ma gbara asụ amara na adị ime. Biko ka m rapụkwa unu o. Good night or good morning. Go to church, you. Bye. Share this message.